everyone, and welcome to Zest with me, Shel Marie, the podcast that will take you on a journey from the hustle to the harmony, fueling your passion whilst finding your peace. Today, I'm joined by someone who truly embodies calm, confidence, and radiant strength, Nancy Shadlock. She is a mental fitness coach, a certified positive intelligence trainer, and the brilliant founder of the Centered Mental Fitness. With over 20 years as an engaging facilitator and 10 as a thriving visionary, she is redefining what it truly means to be resilient. Through her incredible work, she helps visionaries and I always do this. She helps visionaries and innovators level up their mental fitness, lead with empathy, and build sustainable success without losing their joy, relationships, or sanity. Along the way, we love that balance, right? So, without further ado, I can't wait to introduce you to her. Here we go. Welcome, 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 Nancy.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
You are so welcome. So obviously something that really just stands out is the mental fitness coach. Before you go into that, because I always feel like there's a turning point or something in our lives that we realize that we need a lot more of something. So I would love to know, like, where did the primal focus of like mental fitness come from?
Well, my background is I have a master's in spirituality. And so I've always kind of been in those realms of like looking deeper within, helping others and myself with connecting in that space. But I've realized that that's not very accessible for most people. And most people don't go around being like, oh, I have a spiritual need or a spiritual problem. We're just kind of going through life. But we realize things when we have like performance is not working right at work, or our relationship just keeps butting heads. And so I started to get more and more curious about how I could help my people with even more of like the day-to-day challenges. And I stumbled upon mental fitness and was like, whoa, this positive intelligence program is so impactful. And it's been so neat to integrate it into my work and see that it has such tangible ways that it impacts people every day, rather than just like, oh, I'll go and maybe have a session here and there. But this is like a daily workout program, like how you would go to the gym kind of thing.
Wow. That's incredible and so well needed, because like what you said about the gym, a lot of us, we focus really on the physical, and we kind of almost, some others associate like actually the physical with releasing some of the mental. But for it to solely be primarily focused on the mental, I think that's incredible. And I'm just thinking aloud here, but would you say it has like a structure to it, in the sense of like, if this happens, this is a good exercise, or?
Definitely, yeah. There's kind of like, there's an assessment I do with folks at the beginning, and helps people realize like what is the main saboteur that's tripping you up in your relationships or in your performance. And depending on which of the 9 you kind of show up highest with, then there's particular sage steps that will counteract that and help you to learn. So I can give you an example from my own life. The pleaser is one of my top saboteurs, and probably a lot of women have this one, where it's just like, we sabotage our own business or our own relationships by being a pleaser and trying to please whoever's in front of us. And as an entrepreneur, that kept me down for many, many years, because I didn't want to talk about money. I didn't want to displease people with that. And so then I hardly charged things, and then had not the income coming in to sustain my family or in my primary relationship. I thought if I just maintain the peace and please, then it will make things smoother and better. But I started to realize it was actually undermining that relationship, because I wasn't being honest and telling my full truth. And so then they felt like they couldn't trust me. And so it's realizing that there's a sage step I can do in each of these situations, and it's stop. And there's, some mental fitness reps that I teach that can help people like calm in the moment, and then ask yourself, what would please me? And so in each of those situations, getting really clear on that really helps to have that clarity to go forward rather than just, okay, what would please them? What would please them?
Yeah.
And that doesn't help us get forward.
Absolutely. And I think something really important that you mentioned, which I feel maybe is a little bit of an easier reframe, not necessarily, but when you said like I had a family, I think that also actually then isn't about us. It's about actually we're compromising. We're kind of people pleasing someone, but we're actually at the cost of our family. Whereas I think
Yeah.
and I would love your take on this, but when we are often solo and it's on us, it's almost probably more intensified because we're like, oh, it's okay, you know what, I will fast, or I will do this, and we kind of like uh, create these situations of, oh, I'm good. But when it's actually your family that's also going to be at a cost of this, um I can imagine not easier, but it probably would be a little bit easier to reframe it and not make it about the person. Whereas a lot of us, when it is solely us, it can kind of go under the radar more, can't it? Of like, especially if we apply a spiritual thing to it of, oh, I want to be more connected. And, we make up these stories, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Just
When
being
essentially
generous.
we're just trying to avoid the conversation of what we need to have.
Yeah. And that can be another saboteur, is the avoider. And
Yeah, yeah.
so, there's all these different ones that really, they're each unique to us, and yet
Mm.
there's some common themes in humanity. And so it's been fun to be able to quickly be able to help people have a name for it. Like, a lot of people are starting to look at IFS, internal family systems,
Mm.
and it's a way of looking at your protector parts and kind of coming to a counseling session with kind of like group therapy with your whole family internally, internal family system. So it's like
Mm.
all of your parts come and talk. And this is another way to kind of access that pretty quickly, to know, okay, this is my critical voice. This is what it's usually saying to me that keeps me
Yeah.
down. And so I
Mm.
find it so accessible for people to get right away.
I think that's really important what you've just mentioned, because I also think when we can step aside from it and like almost let, like what you say, see it as parts and as pieces of us, it's I think it's a lot more easier to not have such a story attached to it.
Totally. And especially in relationship. Like,
Mm.
my partner and I have both done this. And so now we have that. Like, we were on a road trip recently, and like 2 weeks in a camper van, squished together, like
Yeah.
driving to the Yukon. And it was like, okay, I'm getting sick of, sitting still and da, da, da. And she's like, at first, historically, she might have been like, oh, you're sick of me. You don't want to be with me.
Yeah.
And her saboteurs would ramp up. But then I was able to be like, my restless saboteur is really activated right now. It can't
Mm.
handle this sitting still. I need to get moving. And
Mm.
so, like, just to be able to depersonalize it a little bit and put it over here makes the
Wow.
interactions between people so much easier.
Absolutely, and I love that, and I feel like and I'd love you to expand on this because obviously you're the one that would definitely know a lot more about it, but it's just how my brain's working right now. But I guess there's two sides to that as well, because there's the side of like straight away assuming everything is actually just us, and like almost believing it of like, oh yeah, I'm creating that storyline of like, even when they say, oh, you're just bored with me, and then you kind of think, oh, you haven't really thought clearly about what it could be, you haven't gone deep enough. There's that side of it on the more surface level, and then there's the other side of it of like what you just so beautifully said, when you have something where you're able to kind of link it to something, even though we don't again need to label and put everything in boxes and parts, but having something you can tangibly attach it to,
Mm-hmm.
I think also helps you step away from it being so personal to you, and easier to explain it. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, one of the first things that I teach in the mental fitness boot camp is that the judge is the main thing that trips us up in relationships and life and in work. And so when we can start to realize how much judgment comes into our lives, whether we're judging ourselves, whether we're judging someone else, or whether we're judging the circumstance as bad, that's so much of our stress in life. So like from now on, notice when you're feeling activated by something, trace it back, and you'll be able to see, oh, I'm judging this as bad. Like I just booked a trip to go to see some, like high companies that I want to get some work with. And I realized that the one day that I'm in that country to have those conversations is a national holiday. And I'm like, that's terrible. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this is happening. And then I was like, wait, that's a judgment. Maybe this is a gift. Maybe this is, a time that those executives will be out of office and we can go for a casual coffee. And maybe, like you
Yes.
never know. And so it's like, if we can start to, that's one of the things, is these mental reps that we do helps us to have really strong self-command. So we can notice anytime we're starting to go into judgment, and then we can recalibrate.
I
Because
love
if we're not
that.
in judgment, we're not in stress.
Absolutely. And even just, I know that was just one example, but even that example actually, yeah, we straight away can assume that. But when you re-say the what if, actually, no, that is just as realistic. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, you never know. And
exactly.
oftentimes you make it be so when you're not stuck in that previous judgment. If you're
Yeah.
automatically in that negative judgment, we create what we see or what we're picturing. But if we have this hold in our minds, like there's probably a gift in this somewhere, I will find the
Yeah.
gift and we'll go
Beautiful.
towards that.
And so, how would you, because I'm just thinking of examples of times where, yeah, that has come up, and obviously every day is different as well. But how would you, even when you maybe have that kind of inner dialogue or whatever with yourself and see them positive, oh, but what if? And then say it comes up again, because obviously, as we know with our mind, it isn't always like, oh, don't
Mm-hmm.
tick. Like, um, how would you, without suppressing it and getting frustrated, how would you like kind of
Mm-hmm.
still be kind to yourself when it's like nope, because it's maybe in fear, not in your example, but sometimes fear or worry or
Yeah. I use kind of a combination of a few teachers that I've learned from over the years. One is the Nagoski sisters wrote a book called Burnout, and it's so good. And they talk in there about going through the full tunnel of the emotion. So when you feel something, if you try and suppress it, you just kind of keep getting
yeah,
stuck in that tunnel. And so you really have to let yourself feel the full extent of the emotion, which literally might take 3 minutes max. But we think like, I don't have
yeah,
time for this. I can't do it. And it's like, it never takes as long as you think. Let yourself feel the full extent of it for that, minute or so that it needs to be there. Let it go all the way through your body, and then let it go. And it's really transformational that way, to be able to let it have that flow, but then not keep ourselves, like I like to say, in some ways, like if we touched a hot stove, we would be like, ouch, and you wouldn't keep your hand on there, right? But in our mind, somehow we keep our hands on the hot stove of
yeah,
rumination, and like, oh, this is a bad feeling, I'm going to keep touching it, I'm going to keep thinking about this terrible thing. And this is the self command, is to be able to let ourselves go off of that. So I have another example for you that
yes,
happened this
please.
morning. I had looked at my email and saw my Substack review for the last month, and this many subscribers and this many unsubscribers. And I was like, And so I was in the
Yeah.
shower this morning and I was ruminating on that and being all disappointed. And meanwhile, like these two other really huge things have happened in my work in the last day of like the amazing contacts. And I was like, oh, you're ruminating. You're keeping your hand on the hot stove on this. And like, okay, let yourself feel disappointed. And
Mm.
then now, like, where's the gift in this? And it's like, I've heard people say if you get more and more clear about what you're saying in your work, it will kind of, have people who aren't interested
Yeah,
in it
filter.
walk away. And then the people that are interested will stay or new people will come. So I was like, okay, I can
Absolutely.
let that go. And so now I don't feel so triggered about my missing subscribers.
Thank you so much for that. And like, there's two really, really big things I hear with that. Like, the first thing, which I really love that you've just mentioned, is because, like, I think, yeah, sometimes in this spiritual community and stuff and high vibe, and and if there's all these kind of stories, but actually, I love what you said because maybe that's why it reoccurs because you haven't quite fully felt the extent of how you're feeling. And so, yeah, maybe what could take a day of feeling a little bit sorry for yourself, or not even a day, but you know what I mean? It depends on what it
Mm-hmm.
is. Could It's ended up taking 3 days for you to then say, okay, I'm at peace with this now, or not at peace, but I understand that. I've really felt like and processed it and released or whatever. So I really love that you mentioned that because I think I have that understanding and that knowing of what you've said, but I think sometimes the little part of me wants, quick and done, like, okay, yeah, oh, okay, oh, a bit sad, and then I'm like, but I haven't fully felt it.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Yeah.
I go straight to the positive and then realize that I'm like kind of Groundhog Day gone back to again. I'm like, why is it
Mm-hmm.
resurfacing again? So I get frustrated.
Yeah.
But no, I think you're absolutely right. And I'm sure lots of people who are listening now as well, like, yeah, really feel it and don't feel bad about feeling it. Because yeah, I think sometimes we want to get over that. We don't like the feeling of that all the
Mm-hmm.
time, do we?
Yeah.
Um, and then
Another
the
one,
sorry, yeah.
okay.
No, 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 no.
Another thing that I've incorporated into that balances it nicely, I think, is Elizabeth Gilbert started a community where she wrote Eat, Pray, Love, and she leads us in this practice every week of writing a love letter from love. And
Mm.
so I actually do it every morning. I just start and I write, Dear love, what would you have me know today? And then write whatever flows. And it's kind of amazing to connect with that. And I do that every time I have one of these, triggering situations too. I'll be like, love, what would you have me know about the lack of subscribers or
Mm-mm.
and to have a loving presence hold that and like see me and see you like, I see you, baby. Like I see that it's hard
Mm.
and it's sad and I got you. And there's so much more waiting for you beyond this. And, just to be
Oh,
able to
that's
hear that
beautiful.
is so nurturing because then it's not just like, buck up, come on, get going. Like those are our
Yeah,
saboteurs
yeah.
talking and being like really critical. But when it can be held in that really loving space, that's when things can flow.
Oh, I love that, Nancy. That's so nice. And I think another really important thing that you mentioned was obviously like yes, we have our specialisms and what we're focusing on. But I think we also need to be we need to realize we're not the same person. We're always changing, we're always developing, we're always growing, like always reading a new article, being inspired by someone else. So naturally, like because I can relate to what you said about the subscribers like when I first did my newsletter and then I started going into quantum physics but trying to make it more relatable. Yeah, naturally some people are not going to be interested in that because you've kind of shifted slightly your style of writing. And when we kind of take it away from it being personal to us and actually just almost our own beautiful journey that we're taking people on, naturally, yeah, people are going to fall and people are going to come. And yeah, so I really like that you mentioned that as well,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, just really feel into it, and try
Yeah.
not to focus too much on the falling away, and instead the celebration of what is welcomed.
Yeah. Yeah. Being able to just trust that everything that's happening, there is some gift or opportunity hidden in it somewhere. is so powerful, because then all of a sudden you just start to look for that each time rather than fight it.
Beautiful. Absolutely.
I find that, this initial call that I do with people is impactful standalone.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's what I mean. When you
yeah.
mentioned it, I could just sense that it's really powerful. So,
Hmm.
thank you so much for mentioning that. But I love that you do that because I'm guessing then it really, really personalizes the approach that you take for the individual person.
Hmm.
How can people get in touch with you for that?
Yeah, so it's on my website, centered.ca. And
Beautiful.
yeah, you're welcome to reach out to me on socials too. I'm Nancy Shadlock everywhere.
I love that. And obviously, I'll put everything in the description. And yeah, I think that's a really powerful start as well. Just one more thing. I'd love your take on like ambition versus well-being. What would you say
Tell me
about
more
that?
what you mean about this.
So, well, I just saw like when I had your bio, like for example, like well, I guess it's not verse actually, not ambition versus well-being, but being ambitious as well as I guess it's having that inner compassion for yourself when
Yeah.
you're. Does
I
that make
think a
sense?
lot of people think that, even Brene Brown just wrote about this in her latest book, Strong Ground. She said, like, if executives think that growing their performance of their team needs to be at the cost of their well-being,
Mm,
they're off the rockers. Like, they're not actually going to grow their team's
yeah,
performance
yeah,
either. And so that's what I love about this, is that it really addresses the root causes. People aren't accelerating in their craft, or the company isn't being as innovative as it could, or these things like that.
I
Like,
love that.
all the resilience and things that is needed in the world right now can come back to these practices and these little 30-second reps that can really help people transform things. And I'd love to share
Amazing.
one with you if you
Yes,
wanted to
please. Yeah,
experience it.
yeah.
All right. So imagine, like you just got a triggering email, or got off the phone with a parent that was really activating, and like, okay, I need to come back into my wise mind again. I don't want to be in my blah
Yeah.
space. And so, yeah, I would say, like, take a deep breath, maybe close your eyes. Notice the temperature of the air as it enters your nostrils, and the temperature as it exits. And then rub your fingers together, 2 fingers together, with such attention that you can feel the ridges on both fingertips. And that sensation of touch will bring you back into your right mind. Can you feel a
Amazing.
difference?
Yeah, yeah. I love, do you know what? Thank you so much for mentioning that because I think something that was really powerful and did really change my life and has still is the pause and if you feel reactive, like kind of even if you write that email, don't send it, go for a walk,
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yeah.
But I think what you just showed really, particularly in those moments where we are feeling really triggered or something, it actually just, it doesn't have to be about any of that. You just take yourself away from it completely. And I think that's really powerful because sometimes, even though we know to pause and we're like, okay, no, I'm not reactive now, but we're still typing away,
Mm-hmm.
we kind of try to trick ourselves because we know the technique and we know. Yeah, we're almost like playing a trick on ourselves that we are not being reactive and we kind of still
Right.
are. Whereas
Yeah.
actually, that is just no, it's nothing to do with any of it. It's just
Mm-hmm.
completely bringing yourself back to the present moment. And I think that's really beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know how to do it too. Like, sure, we might have Insight Timer or some meditation app that we use, Headspace or something, but we have to like remember to go and do it. And who's going to take, 30
Yes.
minutes in the middle of their day to do that? But that little rep, like I've taught that to so many people now, and they'll do that under their desk on the Zoom call, or we've taught it to kids who can do it when they're getting activated at school, and like no one has to know. It takes literally 10
I love
seconds or
that.
less, and your brain literally, like they've seen MRIs of your brain lighting up on the other side rather than just your animal instinct, fight, flight, freeze.
Thank you so much, because I think the original example and what often we talk about, which is again, like say the email or the phone call, something. But what I really love that you just explained after that is, yes, sometimes we are literally in that situation with that person right in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
And, we can't actually, and they might be, well, what do you think? What do you think? You have
Mm-hmm.
those. And yeah, we don't have that, like, always the
Yeah.
capacity or the instant time to be like thinking, oh, of a quick technique. Whereas, yeah, like we say, if you just listening, but also just really focusing on something to do, like the technique you just shared.
Something to do with your senses. That's the
Yes,
key.
yes, yeah. Well,
Like
that's
if you're in your
I didn't
senses.
want to like, because I recognized there was two, and I didn't want to like,
Yeah.
but that's what I straight away thought. But I thought, no, Shelley, that doesn't necessarily, don't go generalizing and making an assumption.
No, yeah. There, like Martha Beck just wrote a book called Beyond Anxiety, and she says that in there too. Like if you are in your senses, you can't be anxious. And so it's
Mm.
like, you know,
Yes, someone recently said that, and I think it's so powerful. Where they said like, it's something to do with learning a language and basically doing an art class or something, or a creative arts. And people are like, well, why would I want to make a pot and learn? And it's like, no, but you can't be stressed and doing something at the same
creative.
time. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
really powerful. Wow, Nancy, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've really loved connecting with you. And I know there's going to be many people that want to reach out and find out more. I think it's fascinating what you do, and absolutely something that we need to be celebrating more and introducing more. And I love that you mentioned about the younger generation as well, because it's really, really important. Thank you so much. So just before you go, it doesn't have to be linked to what we've just spoke about, but if there was something someone listening right now would really benefit from hearing, what would you tell them?
I'm going to do a rep first before I answer that. So I'm in my wisest brain.
Beautiful.
I would say if you're feeling stressed right now, if you're feeling worried about the state of the future of the world and yourself in it, your loved ones in it, know that you have so much more agency than you realize to create calm and peace within yourself. And that makes a world of difference. And so that's literally become my mission lately, is like helping especially world leaders find that peace within, because then that will trickle out to them creating peace in the world. And so each person that can bring that in themselves is what changes our world.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you so, so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
So fun. I really enjoyed this conversation too. And I love how you just like spark new conversation from each thing, and yeah, it's really fun.
Thank you. I always notice it a little bit. I feel like people are like, where did that just come from? But my brain obviously works in very creative ways. So I really appreciate that. And I just want to say to anyone listening, please subscribe, because this is an incredible woman who deserves her voice and all that she's doing to be out there to reach more and more hearts and minds. So yeah, please give a little love. Thank you so much, and take care.
Bye.